Hello and good evening. Welcome to theprofitroom.com. My name is Ernest. I'm one of the co-founders of the Profit Room.
Hello, I'm Latoya, one of the co-founders of the Profit Room. What's going on?
I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. Hope everybody's doing well. Make sure you guys click the link to subscribe to the Profit Room here on YouTube as well. If you're on Facebook watching it, make sure you also, share it with your friends, family, and everybody. We've been doing this series called Stock Market Stimulus, and we've been getting some great feedback. We're just talking about a lot of things involving the stock market overall, talking about some success stories, a lot of things going into why you should be involved with the stock market. And we're going to talk more about our course we have, Stock Market Stimulus. We only got a few more days left from this launch. But today we're going to talk about the subject: how do you become successful at trading and investing? Yep, right there. It's like, how do you become successful at trading and investing? It's a big question that we get asked a lot because nowadays a lot of people say they trade and they invest, and we see a lot of wins sometimes, but we don't always see a lot of losses. We wonder if those wins are consistent or they're just like big wins. So, Latoya, based off of that question, how do you think a person can become a successful trader and investor?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts going into that particular subject, but I'll try to narrow it down to one key thought that I think is across the board between trading and investing. Thus, in the prior lives, that there is a distinctive difference between the two. But in order to trade and invest and to be successful at it, I feel both you do need to have not only the understanding, patience. I think patience is a huge part of investing, right? Because that's over time to be able to sit, understand how the market works and functions, and just allow your money to grow over time while still constantly learning about the companies, your long-term investing or investments. But the same thing as goes for trading. Trading, you still need patience as well because you're not necessarily just jumping on anything you see. You're more so having the patience to understand that you're only going to take what was basically considered high probability at that time. And of course, we're going to dive more into stuff like patience is key, in my opinion. Do you have any other outside of the patience part?
Well, I look at it definitely the patience and understanding that trading and investing is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight, right? Just like any other
Correct.
profession, like a lawyer or a doctor, right? That's why they call it practice. I practice medicine, I practice law, I practice trading and investing, right? So it's one of those things that the more time you put into it, the more dedication you put into it, the better you get. Like an attorney doesn't get recognition right away. It takes a couple of cases, you know. Same thing with a doctor, a couple of surgeries, and you start fine tuning that. And I think what happens with those who never have that patience or build that development, they're looking for the quick fastness. And one thing I do really think a lot of people miss out on is the fact that because you see somebody else's success, you think you're going to have that right away. And that's not always the case. And in order for you to see yourself grow and be successful trader, you have to have consistent wins. Not always look for the big jackpot or the great big win. And then usually people who have that, they may have a major loss that may come with that later on in the future. Then they walk away from like trading and investing, and they look for something else that's new, something else that's, popular, things of that nature. So I think that always being a student of the market and not comparing yourself can really help you be consistently profitable in the market. and thus you can feel that, hey, I'm successful, because it's a long game.
Correct.
When you get
Yeah, and
education,
also risk management, right? Can't forget that. That's key. So not only to the consistent wins, but also being able to mitigate and control those losses as well. Huge losses is always frowned upon because that means like you lack the discipline in that sense to really control your loss to the point where it's reasonable. So there are reasonable losses when it comes to trading per se because there's a whole risk management factor, whereas a control loss, as we like to call it, meaning it's a known, like I know that this is what I'm willing to risk. But that major loss always come from where we see with different traders is because they weren't necessarily prepared, right? Prepared to lose that big because they didn't necessarily have that game plan. So yeah, discipline, preparation, patience. What else can we think about in order to remain consistent? Always being a student of the market. That's very important. Either long term or if you're trading short term, you still need to be a student regardless. Always learning. And I think one big important one, accept the fact that the markets are always right. It's not about you and in your ego of wanting to be right. The markets are always right.
correct? I definitely agree. I definitely agree. So that's a great summary for us, to really put out there to you guys on how to be consistent and how you can become a successful trader. And moving forward, that's why we have Stock Market Stimulus. It's a great program, like we mentioned, for novice or those who may not be familiar with the fundamentals and technical side. And we only have a couple of days left. It looks like maybe 1 or 2 more days
Mhm.
left. Then Stock Market Stimulus, our initial group of people will be in their little incubator and their private group and be rocking out from there for the next year, really developing into successful traders. So we encourage you to go to stockmarketstimulus.com. This is a highly, deeply discounted price. Also, May 2nd, we have a live training that goes along with that. And any questions that you have, just go to look at our YouTube channel.
Prior
Yeah,
student
a lot of
success stories.
students have great success stories, and this is really going to help you out during this process of learning how to trade and invest in the stock market. So we hope you guys enjoy these video series we have. We probably have maybe 1 or 2 left dealing with stock market stimulus. Hope you guys are benefiting from our content because our goal at the Profit Room is to help educate people and become conscious of their financial needs. As always, we like to say,
Get educated and be safe out there.
all right, take care. You guys have a